Let's talk about problems are basically a way to do things differently. You've gone into situations that looked very difficult and tricky, whether it's business, whether it's sport, and you've managed to overcome that. Talk to us about the mentality of overcoming difficult challenges and turning around that Titanic in record time. And also, just as a secondary question, the rise of African football and the currency of African football that seems to be increasing in world football.
Well, it's been a privilege and an honor for me to work with really exceptional people in football, whether it's African football or even many years ago at Mamelodi Sundowns, and also in business and in many other undertakings. Any organization and the leader of that organization is only as good as the people that he or she has the privilege to work with. My job is always to keep motivating, to keep inspiring, to keep making sure that the objectives are always in sight, and we consistently evaluate our success. But it's you have to be able to build a track record of consistent progress, and it requires a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifices. And as I was saying to you, I'm proud of South Africa. I'm proud of the continent because we've got exceptional people, and there are challenges and there are problems, and as I said earlier, some of the challenges and the problems are huge problems, but we have to consistently motivate, inspire. There's so much that we should be proud of, and there's so much that gives us confidence that over time we will do better. We will succeed.
Are you still happy with the moral compass, which a lot of people are complaining about, that a lot of our leaders have lost their ways?
You know, what you're saying is so very important, and you know, the role of religious organizations and faith-based organizations, very, very, very important. And all of us as leaders, we have to look at our responsibilities, our leadership, as a calling. And what that means, if you look at it as a calling, the moral decay or the moral decrease or the failures to adhere to those ethics and principles and governance becomes significantly less. I mean, whenever I have an opportunity, I go to church, and that hour in church gives me an opportunity to ask myself over and over again, in relation to my relationship with Almighty, because as I said, there are things we do that leaders do that ordinary people cannot see. But you've got to be at all times try and be as honest and as ethical as you possibly can, because it is your track record. It'll catch up with you. If there's behavior and conduct that's improper, it's not worth it.
On Sunday, Morocco in the 20 final, they were also the only team to have reached the Senior World Cup final. And you've always been talking about this. What can other countries do?
Very good question. Very good question. Very good question. Every one of the 54 countries in Africa, and I want to wish every one of the nations that were part of the under-20 from Africa, we are so proud of them. And there's a lot of talent in Africa. Eh? My job now is to continue to lay the foundation for the people that are going to take over when I step down. Because, as I said earlier, I was only going to make a humble contribution during one term, and I was going to step down at the end of my first period. But of course, as I said, when the sponsor said that they are leaving, it meant that the sacrifices we made and the huge progress that we had built was going to be undermined, and in fact could have been, we could have retreated enormously. So I'm happy that we are in the process of consolidating. Listen, 15, 20 years from now, or even 10 years from now, when we're not involved in football anymore, we want to look back and say, in our own humble way, all of us who are part of CAF, African football, including the media, we should not underestimate the crucial role that the media plays. So we are very proud of Morocco representing the African continent. So on behalf of the CAF and the 54 nations, we wish them all of the very, very best, and we are confident they'll do well. I'm going there. I'm leaving tonight. I'll be in Cairo tomorrow morning to hand over the trophy of the Super Cup tomorrow night, and then after the end of the match, I'll jump on the plane and fly off to Chile to be present. I wasn't going to go to Chile if there wasn't an African nation, but it's historic, and we have to keep giving support and expressing our pride to Morocco. And as I said, it serves as an inspiration to many of our other national teams, whether under 17 or under 23, or even the national teams that are going to America next year. Very important question. Very important, and it's football is always a tool, a power for uniting and bringing our people together. And in every democracy, there's and in this instance, the youth brought their views to the fore, and I've been getting lots of feedback on an ongoing basis, and I'm absolutely confident. I repeat what I said in Kinshasa. We will have a huge and a very successful AFCON in Morocco at the end of the year and early next year. And a part of what all of us are doing in football is we don't just engage our people, we also listen to them. And whatever comments, we had similar challenges in many other countries. I'd rather not mention their names, but I'm absolutely confident that the AFCON at the end of the year. In fact, I'm told that a lot of the issues that related to that the youth were raising, that a lot of those discussions, huge progress has been made. But from a football perspective, I'm very confident that the AFCON in Morocco will be the most successful, and the quality of football will be world class. It will indeed be a celebration of African football.
President, are there any plans for additional support for the 9 or 10 African countries that will go to the World Cup?
Very, very important. I mean, many of the governments are already engaged in giving support, because it's a matter of enormous pride for many of those countries, and we are also engaged from a CAF perspective. I know that there are resources that are forthcoming to those from FIFA, and partly why it has been very important in Africa to make sure that there's financial sustainability, that there's financial independence, is to make sure that when we've got competitions of this nature, we can mobilize the very best on the continent to represent us at the World Cup and make us proud.
When you say the sponsors said they would leave if they left, what does that speak to a need for a succession plan and leadership? Because you don't want it to be that when you leave it collapses.
Very, very important question. Very, very important. And to be quite honest with you, I was confident that that there were very good leaders in place at the time. When I was president of Black Business, when I was president of NAFCO, one of the things you always learn is, whilst you are president, there's a lot of, enormous progress, and we learn all the time that, in fact, often it's more important what happens when you're not president anymore. So we are making good progress, and I'm confident that the people who will take over from me will continue the good work that all of us have done over the last few years.
Thank you, President.
Let me repeat. All of the 54 countries in Africa, very, very proud, love each and every one of them. And the nations that have qualified for the FIFA World Cup, enormously proud. I will say something about South Africa that I say about each and every one of the 54 nations. This country has got enormous talent, enormous God-given ability, and all of the stakeholders have to work together. South Africa should be a football powerhouse. It has that potential, it has that ability, and as I said, I repeat here in South Africa what I say in every one of the 54 nations. The good work that has gotten Bafana into the World Cup must continue, and South African stakeholders must build on that. Football has a very special meaning, enormous sense of joy, brings our country together, brings a sense of unity amongst all our people. So, it's a moment of pride, and everybody must work together to be even more successful and to have greater success and growth in future.
Thank you so much.
As someone who served most of your life, I think you are led by basically the voice of the people who ask you to serve. In a situation whereby you have done your duty with CAF, where do you think you'd like to serve again?
I need to focus on the philanthropy. It's something that is very, very important, and you also must understand there are exceptional people in this country. And we've got to be careful because, there are many people who often do a better job than I do. And you learn about those things over many, many years. And she asked such a beautiful question. I'm enormously confident that we've got talented, hardworking, caring, loving, committed South Africans. There will be challenges, and as I said, some challenges that we have and some that we might experience in future are enormous. But overall, when we are united and when we are focused and there are clear objectives that we pursue, we succeed. We've overcome big problems. I mean, our democracy is something that. We grew up during a time when South Africa was heading for a period of never-ending civil uprising and more than that. So God loves this country, and also we are a God-fearing people, and we are a country and a people that believes in prayer. And that's an important part. As I said, the different religious and faith-based organizations play a critical role. Our traditional leaders, kings and queens, also keep us united. I'm confident about the future of our country. Thank you so much. Thank you.